Welcome to the CBD Ed Show with Edward Chaney, the founder and CEO of Cannafyl, a manufacturer of CBD-infused products for human and pet consumption. In this program, we will discuss the uses of CBD and other methods for alternatives and complements to conventional medical treatment. Now, here's your host, Ed Chaney.
Welcome to the CBD Ed Show. I'm your host, Ed Chaney, along with beautiful Kimberly Rose.
Hello, everyone.
Listen, we have taken some time off.
Yes.
This would be our first video after taking, over a year off.
Yeah. It's been a busy year, though.
It has been a busy year.
Yeah.
And I have to tell you, and I think Kim feels the same way, is we missed this time with you.
Yeah.
We actually enjoy even the interaction between the two of us, but really, we just missed the time sharing.
Yeah, I think we always enjoy discussing all the benefits of CBD and our life. And yeah, it's been something we've been missing for a while.
Yeah, it has been.
Yeah.
And we really do thrive on giving back to our community. And we do that in so many ways. The quality in which we produce our products, how many learning activities and how we emphasize that in our online medias and social medias, and it really is important to us.
Yes.
So here we are. We're back.
Yeah. Yay. Finally, we got a chance to figure out, podcasting, not on Voice America anymore because they are no longer.
Correct.
So we are now here podcasting from home, I guess, like the majority of people do now.
Yes. Yeah, we can do it here at the office. I think the home is more comfortable for us. But, hey, we might even switch it around, try some different flavors.
Yeah. Oh, no. I mean, I like the office atmosphere also, but I don't know, it's just more work. And this feels like more you and me relaxed.
Yeah. Well, so we really wanted to also share why the break. So the break came from two reasons. One is we literally just got super busy. And as we wanted to come back and relaunch the website, just pick it back up again. I'm sorry, the podcast. We found our production company kind of went out of business here in Arizona. So we no longer had that studio to go to. Well, that led to the third part, which was Kim and I learning the tech stack. I know. It was pretty entertaining to watch. And anyway, we took our time mastering it. And let's see if it shows up on this very first video. If not, I hope it's very entertaining to everyone listening and now watching. And I'm certainly it will evolve over the coming episodes.
Yes, I'm hoping it gets easier for us.
Yeah. All our episodes are still fully intact. You can go to the cbdedshow.org or any platform. We made sure that the RSS feed is all updated across all platforms. We're on, I bet 20 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Your favorite podcast platform should have us listed as the CBD Ed Show. Now, how do we want to continue? We want to continue in the same manner. We want to provide what's missing in our industry. What's missing? The misinformation, too. So both of those. So poor hemp had such a horrible start. I mean, it was connected to marijuana. Nobody could study it. What? Oh, my God. That's like the stepchild from hell.
Yeah, it is really being almost associated with a bad person, but you're not really associated with that. And we're just like, we're not that.
Wait a minute. All right. So anyway, it has gone through a lot of adjusting. We have now legislation that separates the hemp from the cannabis plant, and hemp is just really defined as less than 0.3% THC. Really is a very modest definition. I'm going to tell you this. If I look across the landscape, I don't think even a quarter of the population really understands what that means. And you're certainly not going to look at a plant and go, oh, yeah, I recognize that. Because you don't get to see the plant. You get to see the end component.
Right.
We're here to help with this stuff, too. And this is the learning part. This is where we give back to the community by helping them cross over this bridge of lack of knowledge. Would you say that's probably the right way to put that?
Yeah, because I mean, it's actually still, I have people that go, what is CBD? I don't know what does it do? What are you talking about? And I'm going, wow, there's still so many people out there that are not educated about CBD. And I guess in the age of CBD, it is still an infant. It is still a child.
Well put. I agree. Now, it's not the majority anymore.
No.
The majority now both understands and uses CBD. But listen, even at 51%, that's still 49% of the population may not understand it. We just recently heard a press release on the military that over half of the military are currently using CBD now. That's half.
Yeah.
That's a very significant number. And the military, they adapted it fairly quick, but not until it got disconnected from the marijuana plant.
Yeah. Well, I think that's great. I mean, honestly, if we can help the military get over whatever PSTD they have or any type of anxiety, and it's natural because, I mean, they were very dependent on opioids for quite a while.
Absolutely. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And all right. Yeah. So I'm pretty sure they learned from that. So that's our first position. Our first position is to be able to go out and do that work, share that knowledge with you, and help bridge that gap. The second role that we have is to help with misinformation. When a market comes alive, like this market did, CBD, I think other markets that came alive would be like kratom or vaping. These things, when FDA does not step in and provide regulations or govern the activity of this market, then people can just say what they want to say. Mm-hmm. And misinformation is abundant in this space.
Yeah, and I think there's been a lot of, interest in the wellness world in a natural way.
Yes,
like
absolutely.
There's mushrooms now, and there's all these things that are being, set free, I guess is what we want to say.
Well put.
So I can see where people are going, I just don't understand all this. This is a lot.
Yeah, it is a lot. Again, there's no standard for sharing this knowledge. It is my perspective. It is your perspective. Now send that across, 10 and hundreds of thousands of people who want to share, whether that's because they're making the products or they're using the products. You're getting all these opinions. Mm-hmm. And there's also a lot that are unethical. I just want you to buy my products. We came across, we have been in this space for so long. We have seen so much. It's really easy for us to help our community by going, okay, let's talk about this product. Let's come at it from a research perspective, not always just our opinion, although we do like to share our experiences because we have a lot of it to share.
Yeah.
So we can come in from a very peer-reviewed scientific position and then add our experiences, what we've been doing for the last 3-4 years now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and also just a general description of how it works. As we know, I'm the person that talks in the layman's terms, I guess, as we want to say it. I don't think we're going to do a lot of what we did before, right? We're going to talk like organically as opposed to reading peer-reviewed
and stumbling over very difficult words.
Yes.
Listen, I think Kim I believe you are correct. I believe we're going to call on that when it's needed, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
Now, but to your point, that brings us up to a next popular thing that we are going to do for you and for all of our listeners out there is we're going to start relating this to a better life. In other words, your body healing itself. Okay, it can run right alongside of pharmaceuticals, the ones that aren't the risky ones that we all know what they are. We're looking to really help maybe bring your body back to where it could heal itself. And so that's another benefit of how we're going to approach the coming season.
Yeah, I think it's a great way to just get the information out there. I have a newsletter that I put out to all of our customers. It's a weekly newsletter. Yeah. And I pick a topic, usually a nice, normal topic, and talk to them about how CBD and this can work together.
What was your last one? And it was just last week, or was it this week?
This week. I just did a series on NAD because that's a new buzzword going around the world right now, NAD and NAD supplements. And what I found is that the ECS and CBD and NAD, they all just flow together in your body.
Absolutely.
And so to give that information to my customers, I felt was a great thing, to give them that information.
Yeah.
The week before that, it was, oh gosh, I can't remember. I think it was hormones. It was
Yeah.
menopause. It's just those types of situations where you're like, oh gosh, I didn't even think of that. I didn't know that.
Could not have been in this type of business and not acquire a ton of knowledge, especially holistic knowledge.
Yeah.
I would say that's what I've seen you share this enthusiastically every week. Where 2 years ago it was like, oh goodness, what can I share? What can I share? Now you're like, I can't wait to get to that topic.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's awesome. I appreciate it. I even you've outpaced even my ability to share cool ideas with everybody. Well, let's continue. We definitely want to kind of bring you into why we do it. Both Kim and I do recognize that we have a very nurturing side to us. We are very capable of going in and discovering the truth and then sharing that.
Yeah.
And for that truth to be meaningful is why we always went to peer-reviewed and just interpreted those peer-reviewed studies directly to you so that, so we definitely wanted to also be a defender. And this market of CBD is considered holistic medicine. And there are other markets out there that fall in the same realm of helping our bodies fend for themselves, work themselves. They have their own capabilities. And Kim and I are in a position of defending that. Now, we are defending that for ourselves as well.
Well, yes, especially, we have a very large family and we have children and we have grandchildren and they're going to have children. And it's just an ever growing family. And we don't want CBD to go anywhere. We want it to stay, we want it to actually even become just like part of your wellness cabinet. We really just want it to be out there so that people can just go, oh, I'm going to take my CBD every day and that helps my anxiety, that helps my pain and inflammation, whatever it is you need to take it for. We just want it to stick around so that it is just a common knowledge for everyone.
Right. So Kim and I 100% believe that there are two very common journeys to go on as you age. One is called the pill journey, and we have so much experience there from friends, loved ones, our own patients, going to all these assisted living centers and doing our magic there. We certainly are very aware of the pill journey. The other one is a wellness journey that's a little more naturopathic, maybe even holistic, and we want that. We want to be able to bring that journey to you, and we know we can. So this is what we strive to do. Now, how about some experiences? Let's do some experiences of ours that we can share with you. How about fitness?
Well, we all know that I use CBD. Well, if you haven't been listening for a while, I use it every morning before I go to the gym. I'll do a topical on my lower back and some oil, and it really helps my recovery. It helps me get through my workout, but also after my workout.
Okay, let's consider this a little bit. If she's not able to work out, or she goes to a workout and injures herself extensively, like requiring knee surgery or a back surgery, and then she's out for a year, what are the chances she's going to be able to get back in and get herself back into that type of shape so that she can continue to improve her health through fitness, through mobility, through those things that fight off aging-related dysfunctions and aging-related diseases. All right, so what if she can't get back to that? Then we call that a slippery slope. And illness has caused you to stop doing those things your body needs you to do to keep up, and it starts getting worse and worse. Now you're on a pill journey. That's making things worse and worse. It is called the slippery slope. Kim, that is the experience that Kim can share, is she uses it to avoid that slippery slope.
Yeah, and luckily I started going down that slippery slope when I was younger. What was I, like 45 or 50? Maybe I was 50.
Okay.
And I started having issues with my hip. And I eventually needed to have my hip replaced. And I really let that hinder me for a while. like I babied it and I didn't want to work out. And I said, oh no, I'm just going to do a little light yoga. And that's what I did. And it took me about a year after that surgery. And I finally just said to Ed, you got to take me to the gym. You got to get me on some kind of a plan. I can't just hobble around. Of course, I see my mother, and she has hobbled around, and she has had many surgeries. So I just didn't want to do that. I wanted to be up and mobile again. I have grandkids. I have a big family. I can't sit.
So let's cut 4 years down the road. 4 years.
4 years.
Okay. So I'll give you some of what I see. She comes to the gym with me every morning.
Yeah.
And that's no easy task.
No.
We're pushing stuff and pulling stuff. We do some pretty rigorous workouts, and they change very regularly, and it's a very hectic pace. And so I'll share that. So now when I ask him, so how are you with your grandkids? How is your outside living life like? You know, I know you love plants. How are you moving around?
Right. Well, and basically because I gave up living that life of fear that I couldn't do it anymore. Oh, I can't do that anymore. I can't go do that. I can't play pickleball. I can't do any of the things that I used to love to do. And
She's not that good at pickleball.
I'm not good at pickleball at all. I'm terrible at it. But I try and I can get out there, and I'm not worried about I'm going to hurt myself.
You are not.
So yes, on top of the fact that my doctor told me I could not take Advil anymore, no more over-the-counter pain medicine. So CBD really has just become my go-to for. I mean, it's about everything now.
Yeah.
Literally everything. I have a hurt knee right now because I did a little too much yesterday at the gym. So I've already used the roll-on twice this morning. So, yeah.
So in my only experience, and I can keep it short, was I understood as somebody in my 50s that I had to get a handle on sleep. It's very difficult to run businesses and not struggle with some sleep deficiency because your mind is just constantly wandering. It's on the go. It's everything. So right. So CBD, that would be my big share for you, is that allowed me to put back in the sleep that was necessary for me to stay fit, mentally and physically. Sleep can mess with either one of those. All right. So now you have kind of a why we do this, and the why it matters, because we know that most people who don't want to do holistic or the other one, the plant-based medicines, the reason they won't do this is just a lack of knowledge or misinformation, either one of those. And that's a huge consequence. If you are stuck with pharmaceuticals, I'm sorry, everybody look in the last 20 years, what has pharmaceuticals done? They will help 10% of the population, but the other 90 tend to have a lot of needless suffering.
Yeah, I'm definitely going through that right now with my stepfather. And he probably takes 7 or 8 pills a day. It's just kind of how they've been and I keep saying, Mother, you guys don't need to do this. I mean, I don't want you to stop taking your medication, but let's figure out how we can wean you off of this with a better diet, or I don't know. They're in their 80s now, so it's tough.
It's tough, yeah. That journey would have been different 10 years ago. The later you start, the harder it becomes.
Yeah. No, you have to be extremely focused.
Yeah. Now, so if you were 80 years old, you're also likely not really aware of the rise in holistic alternatives.
Right.
You just, and even if you see it, you don't know what to do with it. You turned it off. You're going to go right back to what you're comfortable. You really have to be in that 60s, 50s, or 60s if you were going to make that big drastic change. Hey, listen, the world, the population at large, is looking at it now in as early as 20s.
Right.
Would you agree? Yeah. Everybody is talking microdosing this and plant-based product this and removing this. And by the way, a lot of removing a lot of pharmaceuticals. I'm sorry, even big pharma's removing pharmaceuticals, right? Because
well, they just are not good for you. We always discussed this on the show before. They help one issue, and they're over here creating 4 more issues.
Which is really good for the bank account.
Yeah, but it's not good for the human, because then you are there with I was just at my parents' house and there's pill organizers.
Yeah.
Right? And they each have their own, and
Yeah. Well, so let's talk through the different types of medicines today. If I were to look back 30 years ago, there were only two types: allopathic, which is Western medicine. Allopathic means symptoms, treating the symptom, and that's it. Now, that is the basis and has been the basis for our current wellness, driven by, our government, our pharmaceutical companies, and so forth. You put that alongside of holistic or plant-based or homeopathic. Okay, those are all fairly new. Now, the practice of those aren't very new. They were just called different things 20 years ago.
Well, and again, I mean, they were very good at being a little derogatory. Oh, she's a hippie.
Right.
Oh,
First thing that came to my mind, too.
Oh, yeah, sure. What you're gonna?
Yeah.
What was it? We've heard snake oil. We've heard.
Oh my goodness, absolutely.
Yes, we've heard all the things, and it's too bad that if it doesn't come in a chemical form, and it comes from a plant, and it's all natural, that some people were led to believe that that didn't work, and that's not true. It's really not true.
Yeah. Now, here's the other issue with this. With our allopathic medicine being what it's been for the last 20 years, the system to research and develop naturopathic or holistic medicines is super red tape filled. It really is. It's very hard to conduct at least the research that's able to reach the population. I'm not talking about, 100 people get to hear this, or, privileged people get to see these, or somewhere, the masses, the billions of people that need to see this research is not available for holistic or any of these plant-based alternatives. They're just not there.
I think it's getting a little bit better. It's getting a little better. They are making, like, we watched a show on CBD, that documentary.
Yeah.
It's getting a little better, but it is not out there. I can tell you that my parents are not watching those types of shows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The younger generations are.
Yes.
So, and the other younger generations will end up having an impact on the older generations, but it just takes some time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there are real consequences here.
Yeah.
Getting down one road, and the slippery slope is a high potential. You go down the holistic road, or the naturopathic road, there tends to be more work.
Well, that's
but it's not a slippery slope any longer.
Yeah, that's another reason that maybe some people.
I would agree.
My parents don't. They're, oh, we're too old now. We can't, or this is a big one. My mother says, oh, he won't eat that. He doesn't eat the Brussels sprouts, or he doesn't eat, and and I'm like, this is not a 5-year-old, mother. He'll eat it if you give it to him. But
that's all he has to eat.
I know, right? So you do have to work. It means getting your body and moving it, getting that body out in the sun. Vitamin D is so good for you. Of course, in parameters, you got to keep in your little house. Don't get sunburned, is what I'm saying. Eating well.
Yeah, and I'm really glad you brought that in. That is part of that. There's extra work.
Yeah.
Extra work. Eating well is, and getting the right nutrition can be a lot of work.
It can be.
And it can be exhausting for some who are not used to it.
Right.
I get my pizza delivered and what. So anyway, I'm glad you brought it up that way. So just maybe start from, it's a lot of work, sometimes just getting off your couch. So we do know that is a real world consequence. So the more Kim and I can have an impact on that at a younger age for both ourselves and for our community, the better off those will be in their later years. We know this for a fact. Anyway, so we can help share. We can do all the due diligence. We can put together programs. We can put out a book. Hey, wait, we already put out a book. All right, so just recently published. Anyway, listen. Oh, I should tell you, the title of that book is Imagine Your Body Healing Itself.
Yes.
Right. Isn't that is such a big topic to us.
Yeah, because really, honestly, I know it sounds very cliche. You only get one body. You only get to take care of one body. So just give it some good food. Give it a little bit. You don't even have to exercise all the time, every day. You can, but as long as you do something, I think that's the number one thing that I'm learning with, again, my stepfather who's going through a lot of issues. If he would have just, elevated his heart a little bit more often throughout his life, maybe things wouldn't have,
Okay.
circulation would be better at 82.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and thanks for sharing that, by the way. I know that's sensitive right now for you. Well, so we have a current landscape of big pharma versus wellness movement, and it's not going away. And that this environment has been around now for Kim and I have seen it 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Big enough that it's worth talking about.
Right.
It's always been a little bit of a fight, but it really became well exposed over the last 10 years. So, and pharma has to.
But wait, let's stop.
Yes.
We're not against doctors. We are not against doctors. We think you should always go to the doctor, especially if you have, do a yearly checkup, and then if you have an issue, go and. But try and find maybe a more holistic doctor. Maybe, and if he wants to give you prescription something, then maybe just go. I'm going to check that out. I'm going to do some research on that before I start taking that pill.
Yeah. So, and there is a lot of those opportunities now. I can share some of this because there is a big difference between health innovators and market scams. I already know. As soon as I said that, you all went, well, we already know that too.
Yeah.
But what we don't know is who's being truthful out there. Because sometimes these health innovators are just market scams in disguise.
Right. Which is why I broke down the NAD and the,
Exactly. Super helpful. If we can break that down for you, then you can go to the label and make your own decision whether this is an innovative or a health, an alternative, holistic alternative. And that's the best place for you to be, huh? Mm-hmm. Is if you yourself can make that decision. I'll give you a crazy example that just happened. Kim and I have been looking for dog food for our dogs. What we buy is super expensive. We don't even know if they like it. We're always hearing new science, so we're always digging in and we feed them a lot of vegetables, probably feed them more vegetables than we feed ourselves. Anyway, we saw this ad, and this guy was like, I am from this veterinarian this and veterinarian that. Looked like a regular old Joe. And he was just touting this stuff as the best thing for my animals. And I'm like, God damn, I sent Kim that link and had her look into it. And now 2 days later, I see the same guy across 4 or 5 different products that weren't even in the same market.
Yeah.
And I was so disappointed.
Well, influencers.
Yeah.
That is their job, is to influence you.
Yeah.
But do your research. We went on this kick with the dogs because they have allergies. And so we're just switching their foods around a little bit to see what can help them, what can't. But I don't think we're going to go with that dog food.
Yeah.
Because if it sounds like it's too good to be true, it might be a warning sign.
It seemed like Big Pharma in the wellness movement, if you want to know the things that we see standing out today, are this. When it comes to pharma, we all know they're still pushing anything they can get their hands on because it's just a machine, and they have stakeholders and stockholders. They have expectations of profitability, so forth and so on. But they've been pushed back on by the population in the last 20 years, right? They've had some of their poor choices have been exposed, and they've been penalized. Opioid crisis and so on. Now statins are showing up, right? So that little engine is getting some pressure, hopefully to lean more in the population's well-being. The other thing that's showing up is the other side of this, which is the wellness movement. Mm-hmm. Here are some key terms we started hearing, and now we've heard these much earlier. The closer it is to living, the better.
Right.
And then now the next thing we hear is microdosing.
Right. Yes.
Things that we thought were, and these were plant-based products. Right. Things that were nutraceuticals is what they would be. So a plant-based medicine that we thought were only for a select few, or wow, you really got to be like adventurous to try this, or any of those have now changed. So the word microdosing means somebody has learned how to take that plant and deliver it in much smaller doses so that they can then be experienced by a much larger crowd. So kind of keep an eye out for those two things.
Yeah, because microdosing it just means that you are taking a very small amount of this product that might be overwhelming if you took a large amount of it. So this is a very small amount. It doesn't do anything to you, like it doesn't make you high. It doesn't do any. It just triggers, and it's just enough in there to trigger those things in your brain that either make you feel good, or less anxious, or more creative, or whatever it is you want to say.
Are you realizing your body could heal itself?
Right. Yes.
All right.
So don't be afraid of microdosing. I think people are even afraid of that word.
Well, because it usually comes with some recreational thing. Yeah. So it definitely has moved past that. So you have a responsibility, consumer awareness, consumer education. Empower yourself to take control where control has been taken from you. Red dye number 7. We could have stopped buying their products and forced them to stop using that. We could stop buying alcohol. I know it's a rough one for me to do. We could have more control over those who make things available to us that are bad for our health. We really can be in control. And we can help. Kim and I can help because we like taking this position. We like taking the time to dig through knowledge and share it with our community. Anyway, so you can expect that from us.
Yeah. And we're not going to just talk about CBD. Cannabis is a family that we are part of. It's even though maybe the THC part, the marijuana side, is the scary uncle that everybody, you got to have him there, but he's a little wacky. He's still part of the family, and he's really not that scary.
Yeah, and to Kim's point, we won't stop just at cannabis. As she had shared earlier, she puts out these weekly newsletters, and by the way, feel free to reach out to her anytime. Her best email is team@cannafyl.com. Cannafyl is CANNAFYL.com, cannafyl.com. And just kind of join that journey she likes to take everybody on, because as I was getting ready to say, it didn't just stop at CBD. In order for that ECS system to work really well, in order for you to get a really good night's sleep, here is some product mix that will help your ECS system work. But here's also what else you need to do nutrition-wise, or you need to get exercise or sunlight. So she'll put that message out there and include all kinds of components that would be necessary for that wellness journey to be successful for all the people that you talk to.
I love sharing my newsletter. I really do take a lot of time and effort to try and get all the information out there, I mean, there's so many words being thrown at us these days. I didn't even know about cortisol. I know my doctor had said something about cortisol, but I'm like, what the heck is cortisol? Right. So I did a whole series on that.
If you're an entrepreneur, you know what cortisol is.
So it is just informational about how wonderful your body is, and how wonderful it does so many things for you every day.
Thank you. And again, I'm going to make that strong recommendation. If you are on that wellness journey, reach out to her at team@cannafyl.com and just get on her weekly mailing list. You'll love it. You really will. It's what spawned our book. It's just, we've helped millions of people. So yeah. Go Kim. And I really am proud of how far you've gotten with that. So some upcoming topics that we are going to look into. We absolutely will be always looking at new products. Kim and I were talking about just yesterday, CBD infused tampons. Listen, that's not that it's a bad idea, but there needs to be some other understanding, right? It needs to be a little bit of a deep dive, and we're capable of doing that. Delta 8, there's still a lot of people playing around with, well, should I or shouldn't I? And what do I do with mushrooms? Feel free to anticipate that these topics we will be discussing in the episodes to come. We also will keep a really good eye on the landscape of not just CBD and cannabis, but other holistic alternatives. And we'll share those as well, because again, that well-rounded approach to your wellness leads to, hey, imagine if your body could heal itself.
Right, yes. And listen, anything that we can get people to kind of go away from pills and guide you to a more healthy, natural, well-balanced way of living is it's just a win for us.
And once the Fair Banking Act gets passed, which is, again, in legislation again this year, once it gets passed, and why am I talking about this? Because it opens the door to a lot of federally supported research that is absolutely necessary for all these upcoming wellness alternatives.
Yeah.
Yep. So know that that's all coming. And again, I want to encourage you, reach out, tell us your comments. Feel free to interact directly with Kim at team@cannafyl.com, because we always love hearing and talking to our listeners. And feel free, we'll answer questions. If you have a product out there you would like us to dive deep into, we will absolutely do it. Are you kidding me? It's like the vein of our existence. We love that stuff. Anyway, and feel free to go to any of our social media platforms, especially the CBDEdshow.org. It has all the titles that have been done over the last 3 or 4 years. Really easy to go through, put in a question, what do I want to know about? And it'll direct you to, the over 180 episodes that are in there. And again, we're in most popular podcast platforms.
Yeah. And on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube.
Yeah.
We're all the usual places.
Yes. So this is what we love doing. And this journey of wellness seems to has the mantra of, hey, imagine if your body could heal itself. All right. So until we speak again, this is Ed.
And this is Kim.
Have a great wellness journey. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the CBD Ed Show. Please join your host, Edward Chaney, for another edition next Friday. Until we talk again, enjoy the upcoming weekend, and we'll be here soon.